Is anybody there yet?
I just want to remind everybody, please turn. Please turn it down. I just wanted to
Can you hear
remind
me?
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes,
Can you hear me?
you can come on, please.
This is Bobby Rhodes.
I do apologize. Yes, we can hear you, Mr. Rhodes.
Okay, thank you, okay?
Thank you. I do apologize. Yes, we can hear you, Mr. Rhodes.
Okay, thank you, okay?
Thank you.
David, can you hear me? This is Ken Beckman.
Did you call me, sir?
I please want to remind everybody to hold off on the talking until the meeting starts. Thank you.
I was just asking for a sound test.
You sound great, Ken.
Thanks.
This is Bruce Carey being present. Chelsea? Julie?
Yes, this is Jesse.
Oh, hey, this is Bruce Ferry. I want to let you know that I'm on.
Thank you.
Listen only mode.
Good afternoon. The Historic Resources Board meeting is called to order. Today is June 16th, 2020 at 5:30 p.m. Madam Assistant City Clerk, would you please call the roll? Chair Bender. Here. Vice Chair Spade.
Present?
Board Member Passmore. Board Member Lebrano.
Here.
Board Member Pogue. Board Member Pogue. Madam Chair, all board members are present except for Board Member Pogue and Board Member Passmore. Thank you. The first item on the agenda is approval of the minutes from the HRB meeting held on May 19th, 2020. Do we have a motion for approval? Please remember to state your name and motion.
This is Bruce Ferry. I move to approve the minutes from the last meeting.
Give me just one moment, please.
Benny Lebrano seconds it.
We have a motion by Bruce Sperry and a second by Benny Lebrano to approve the minutes of May 19th, 2020. Is there any discussion? There being no discussion, we will vote by roll call. Madam Assistant City Clerk, please call the roll. Chair Bender? Yes. Vice Chair Sperry?
Yes.
Board Member Lebrano?
Yes.
Board Member? Thank you. The minutes are passed with a vote of 3-0. The next order of business is public comments. Public comments for this meeting are accepted by electronic submission or mailed to the Assistant City Clerk, and any public comments received or disseminated to the Historic Resources Board electronically prior to the start of the meeting for review and inclusion into the meeting's official record. Comments were received from Shannon Collins and would be included as part of the record for that case. The next order of business is swearing in of staff and speakers. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you are about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
The next order of business is new business, quasi-judicial hearings. Would the Assistant City Clerk please swear in staff and speakers?
Where'd the number go?
Do you swear to affirm that the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Thank you. The next item is our quasi-judicial hearing. This is case HRB 2020-14, lot on North Wheeler Street. The applicants are Curtis Devane and Robert Rhodes, a new single-family home. Staff was informed after the last HRB meeting that the applicant was on the line, but due to technical difficulties, the audio was not working. We sincerely apologize for this occurrence. City staff, you may proceed.
My slide presentation, please.
3, 2, 1. 1, 2.
Can't mute that.
May I ask if you can repeat that?
I need my slide presentation, please. This is Julie Ham, Planning and Zoning Manager, and I have been sworn in. Next slide. Hello? Back one slide, please.
Yes, ma'am. Hey, this is Bobby Rhodes. Can you hear me?
Give me just
Mr. Rhodes, we can hear you, but staff is going to make their presentation.
Okay, because my phone keeps cutting out. I've had to call back 3 or 4 times. I've tried to call David. So if you lose me again, we have problems again with the line.
An application was received to construct a new single-family home on North Wheeler Street within the Plant City Residential Historic District. This lot is located on the east side of North Wheeler Street between Calhoun and West Herring Streets. The home will be considered a non-contributing structure. Next slide, please. The applicant has incorporated the existing block structure, a former workshop, into their design. Next slide, please. Staff reviewed the design against Chapter 3 of the Historic District Design Standards regarding new construction and concluded that it met the required guidelines for zoning and site coverage, scale and massing, which is proportionate components, massing, the mixed textures of materials, porch, and facade with visual interest. With the building alignment and spacing, the orientation of the building, site coverage, setbacks, and the floor heights, porches and entrances, windows and doors and walls, per Chapter 3, as it references the different pages. A complete review of findings is in staff report. Today, after the staff report was submitted, staff received public comments from Shannon Collins regarding this case, which have been disseminated to the board and supplements the report. Next slide, please. Page 7 of the Historic District Design Standards note for new construction to strive to be made harmonious with its intermediate historic surroundings. This is not done by outlawing modern architectural design or by dictating only a handful of preferred historical styles for Plant City. New construction should reflect the characteristic scale, massing, rhythm, proportions, and building traditions of the environs. Excellence of new design is always preferred to false pretenses of antiquity. Next slide, please. Here the elevations and details of the proposed home are shown. The design elements also meet the historic design standards, including a usable front porch with columns, consistent heights of windows and doors, gridded window patterns, a high-pitched roof covered with dimensional shingles with a 12-inch overhang, flat siding on the front, a finished floor height of 18 inches, a front door with single glass pane insert and decorative metal awnings over the front windows. Next slide, please. These are photos of surrounding homes, which shows there's a mix of styles, materials, scale, massing, rhythm, and proportions. Next slide, please. The site plan shows that the home will meet the required lot size and setbacks for the zoning district. It also shows how the property will be accessed from the public alley by a driveway leading to the home's covered carport. Next slide, please. Staff reviewed the application and supporting documentation and determined that the proposed new single-family residence meets the desirable design elements enumerated in Plant City Historic District Design Standards and is found to be consistent with Chapter 38 Historic Preservation and the Chapter 3 New Construction Additions and Alterations to Non-Contributing Structures in the Historic District Design Standards for the Plant City and recommends approval. This concludes staff report.
Thank you, Julie. Does the board have any questions or comments for city staff?
Bruce does.
Okay. Mr. Sperry, you may speak.
Yes. Julie, it appears as though the concerns of Ms. Collins were addressed in the section regarding new construction, so that you're satisfied that we are in compliance despite her concerns regarding the construction materials, I guess?
Correct.
How many, in that area, how many homes are stucco? I don't recall many of them, except for that one with the brick facade, but that's kind of an aberration. Or most of them have siding as opposed to having stucco?
Yes. There are a few on Wheeler Street that have the stucco. I don't have a number.
Okay. So you feel comfortable that the fact that it has stucco siding as opposed to a more of a frame style, that it's consistent with that area of the neighborhood?
Yes.
Okay. Those are my questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Sperry. Are there any other questions or comments for city staff?
Yes, this is Benny Lebrano. I have a question for staff.
Go ahead, Mr. Lebrano.
On the drawings that were presented, there's a remark. It says prefab metal awnings by owner. Was the staff provided any drawings, pictures, or anything, or what they're making reference to, metal awnings? They're noted on the front elevation, which faces west, which faces Wheeler Street.
Are you asking about the pictures of them or the standard, like the framing?
Did they give you any specific details and or colors, how they're going to be made, something similar to, other than noted on the drawing that says prefab metal awnings?
I'm looking through the file right now. See the air conditioning, do not see it right here in this part. Is there a question you have on it? Maybe the applicant can answer the question when it's his turn.
Well, it would be nice to have some description of what they intend on putting on there. It is an integral part of what they've shown on the submitted drawings.
We can ask for that also. I would assume it would look like their drawings show.
I'm assuming what they're going to do is they're going to put a piece of metal, maybe a tin roof or something like that. They're not indicating, asphalt shingles on it. They're making reference to metal, so I'm assuming that that's probably what it's going to be. But it would be nice to know what that material is. It is a dominant part of that exterior. And, if we're going to approve it, we're approving it, something that we don't know what it's going to look like. That's my only question.
Julie, can I speak?
If that's Mr. Rhodes, if you'll wait just a moment until
Okay.
the board members have asked their questions.
Okay.
And
Okay.
that was, okay, this is Chair Bender. The material makeup and examples of the awnings was also something I had written on my list. And I could see where that would blend with the front facade of the home if the roof were also metal. But to have a shingle roof and then metal awnings on the front, I do not see where those are compatible. My other concern too is the exterior sides. The front facing Wheeler appears to be a lap siding, but then the other three sides are a stucco. We recently had another new home that was stucco on two sides, and even though those were not street facing sides, it is visible from both of the street facing sides that you come down and can see the home. So I have a concern there that we're putting a good show on the front side, but we're not having, we're not looking at how they're visually compatible within the district and with their neighboring structures by mixing the materials. So I have a concern for that. I cannot read on the copy that I have the dimensions of the front porch. Julie, do you have the plans and you can tell me what the dimensions of the front porch are? You can see it's 163 square feet, but that doesn't give me the numbers I'm looking for. And also I was trying to determine the size of the carport.
Porch looks 19, I think the dimension is 19 by 8.
Okay.
The carport is 12 by 18. So 12 feet wide by 18 feet deep.
Okay. And you have samples of the roof shingles?
We don't have the physical roof shingles. We have the information from the roof company, the, what do you call it? But we don't have a physical. Yes, we don't have a physical, correct.
Okay, so you have a shingle brochure. Okay. The other thing was on the left elevation and the rear elevation, there are no window openings at all.
Correct. Was that a question? Correct.
Okay, I just want to verify that the print that I have is the same that you have. Okay. And it does meet all of the setbacks for minimum square footage for front, sides, rear, etc.?
Yes.
Okay. And going back to the slide that you had that showed, I think it was maybe 6 homes on Wheeler Street that are in the close vicinity to this one.
Yes.
Can we pull that back up, please? Okay. I'm looking at this, and I do want to point out that the lower right-hand side, that is a brick structure, and that was existing there when we did adopt the historic district, the Northeast Plant City Residential Historic District. All of the other homes are lap siding. There's only one-story home. Actually, I believe there's two. Then the other three are two-story homes. So I do have a little bit of concern about the size of this home that's going in. Previously, that was a lot that went from Evers to Wheeler and contained one residential structure, as is the same with lower left and lower center home. Those are lots that span from Evers to Wheeler. So what we're doing here is we're taking a spanned lot and we're cutting it in two. And at this point, we do not know what's going to go and be facing the Evers Street side. So that was another one of my concerns. But I just wanted everyone to realize that the brick structure on the lower right-hand side was prior to our district being adopted. Those are my comments. This is a public hearing. In the notice for this hearing, the public was advised to contact the city clerk's office at least 48 hours prior to this public hearing, should anyone wish to speak. Madam Assistant City Clerk, did anyone contact your office to speak at this public hearing?
Madam Chair, we have Mr. Bobby Rhodes, who is the applicant. No other persons have requested to be heard for this public hearing.
Mr. Rhodes, are you still on the line?
Yes, ma'am. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Thank you. Do you have any comments you'd like to make at this time?
Okay. The first thing I wanted to talk about, she talked about what was going to be on the Evers Street property. Okay. The Evers Street front half of the property, we're going to build a big historical house on the front half too. We're going to divide the properties with white vinyl, nice fence. Okay. The other one we were talking about is the shutters on the front.
Okay, Mr. Rhodes, before we
go ahead.
I'm sorry to interrupt you, but since we lost your connection a couple of times earlier, I just want to verify that you were on the line and that you were sworn in.
No, I did not. I didn't hear that part. No, I did not.
Okay. All right. Then let's back up and I'll ask the Assistant City Clerk to swear you in, and please state your name and address.
Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do. And
okay,
my name is Robert L. Rhodes.
And your address, please?
My address is 3607 Tyndall Road, Plant City, Florida, 33565.
Thank you. All right. You may continue with your comments.
Okay, well, I was talking about the Evers Street project where the other lady asked about what was going to be put there. I said we're going to build a big historical house on the front half of the property. Adjacent to the house, it's got brick stucco to the right. Okay, we're going to put white vinyl fence to divide the properties. And then we talked about the shutters on the front of the house. They're probably going to be, I don't know exactly, but they're going to be about 3 foot wide on the front. They're going to have silver tin put on the front, Galvalume. The roof's going to have a black 30-year dimensional shingle roof put on the top. That's what it's going to have. Don't really have any more questions for you. You asked about the porch and the carport. You told the size is right. Like I said, the house fits all the setbacks of the historical district. We're going to develop a beautiful house there. Because it needs to be done. That's about all I got to say. Thank you for listening to me.
All right, thank you. Does the board have any further questions or comments?
This is Bruce Sperry. Shelby, I'm trying to think in the past when we've had porches and we've had a number of them. I can't recall on the last one that we did, was it concrete or did they have some sort of, or was it some sort of composite type of flooring on the, I don't recall concrete porches in the past. Maybe I'm missing.
Okay. We have had them that were concrete, and then we have had them that were the composite material and or wood material.
Okay, so we've approved both in the past.
Yes. And I think there was one case that it had to do with how small the porch was or something. I don't remember. Julie, do you recall?
No.
Okay. I know one that we talked about the materials, and I believe it was the new construction that was on West Teaver Street probably about 3 to 4 years ago, and the property owner stated at the time that the cost of materials for the concrete porch versus the composite material was out of her budget and would not make her project profitable. Does that answer your question, Mr. Sperry?
Yes, I think you commented that in this area, that outside of that one with the brick facade, because I don't recall any that have stucco over in that area. Was there another one nearby that I'm missing?
There is two doors west of this address going to the north. There is a new construction home. As you speed down Wheeler Street, most often people don't see it because it has a lot of foliage. It's a natural yard.
Is that, yeah.
It's new construction.
Was that one 5 or 6 years ago?
No, that one was a good, I want to say 15 to 18 years ago. It's been a really long time. And that home was built not to the plans that we looked at.
Yes, I recall that one. Yes, it was.
We were expecting a lap siding or a vinyl siding, yes. And it came out stucco.
No, I think it was the way it was. It was something with the roof line. They changed the roof line, which made the house look different. It was approved for stucco.
It was
built in
approved
2004.
2004? Because the only other one that's on farther down the street, again, was built before the district was adopted. I was thinking that one, though, was supposed to have some siding on the front of the house so that it didn't all look like stucco.
Okay.
Chair Bender.
Yes.
On this deal with the siding, considering where this existing masonry building is right now, that it's only 20 feet from the property line, the existing property line there on Wheeler, and as you approach it, both from the north and from the south, there's an awful lot of exposure to the sides of this. My feeling is there's a lot of exposure to the sides of this, more so than some of the other situations where there have been houses that are closer to the property lines on both sides. And particularly in what you mentioned, that on the north side of this house, front facing west, so it'd be on the left-hand side, but there are no windows. So that would be, kind of a striking, plain canvas. And I'm more or less sort of, kind of siding with board member Bruce that I think the sides need to have some more siding on them. And on the front, where there's that little shed roof above the awnings, which are going to be determined, I would say instead of mixing and matching black dimensional shingles and a tin roof on the awning per se, that portion of the roof should probably, or could be, I wouldn't want to see asphalt shingles on the awnings, but so kind of suggest that maybe that shingled roof that's on the front gable be also metal to match the awnings. That was, my comment, and, for what you were addressing there.
Thank you, Mr. Lebrano. Well, there again, I'm going to reiterate my comments for both the left side elevation and the right side elevation, because those are highly visible points on Wheeler Street, which is our main entry into downtown Plant City, coming from the north. And if you've come into Plant City from the south and you're exiting to the north, there again, you're going to see the right side elevation of this structure. So I certainly would be more favorable to this application if those side elevations had the lap siding that's on the front of it. What you see in the rear at some point will be covered by a fence, and so should not be highly visible from the Ever Street once a second home is built facing that Ever Street lot. I concur with Mr. Lebrano that the small roof over the gable end on the front side, the elevation that's facing Wheeler, those materials should match what's going to be on those window awnings. And I'm not comfortable at all with what it probably will be. I want to see something that is concrete and tied down today. So those are my comments. I don't believe we have any other speakers on the line that wanted to speak and address this. So I'm going to close the public hearing and ask what's the pleasure of the board. Please remember to state your name as you make a motion or a second.
Ms. Bender?
Yes.
I'd like to make a motion that I'm not exactly sure how to phrase it, but that we would move for approval with the following conditions: that both the north, which is the left side elevation, and the south side, which is the right elevation, have the same material, the lap siding, as the front. And that, excuse me, and that the small single roof portion on the large gable of the house be in metal to match the awnings. And I believe that would be everything.
Thank you. We have a motion by Mr. Lebrano. Do we have a second?
This is Bruce Berry. I will second that motion with those conditions.
Thank you, Mr. Sperry. We have a motion by Benny Lebrano and a second by Bruce Berry. Is everyone clear on the motion? Is there any further discussion? Hearing no further discussion, we will vote by roll call. Madam Assistant City Clerk, please call the roll.
Chair Bender?
Yes.
Vice Chair Sperry?
Yes.
Board Member Lebrano?
Yes.
Thank you. The request is approved with a vote of 3-0, and the motion was stated. The next order of business is other business and announcements. Under this section, we have an attendance report. Marcia Passmore was absent from the May 19th, 2020 HRB meeting. Ms. Passmore notified staff in advance that she would not be able to attend the meeting. Is there a motion to excuse Ms. Passmore's absence? Remember to state your name as you make a motion or second.
This is Bruce Sperry. I move to excuse Marcia Passmore's absence.
We have a motion by Bruce Sperry. Do we have a second?
Yes, Benny Lebrano, I second.
Thank you. We have a motion by Bruce Sperry and a second by Benny Lebrano to excuse Ms. Passmore's absence at the meeting on May 19th, 2020. Is there any discussion? There being no discussion, we will vote by roll call. Madam Assistant City Clerk, please call the roll.
Chair Bender,
Yes.
Vice Chair Sperry,
Yes.
Board Member Lebrano.
Yes.
Thank you. Ms. Passmore's absence from the May 19th, 2020 meeting is approved with a motion for a vote of 3-0. Is there any other business to come before the Historic Resources Board today? Hearing none, this meeting is adjourned. Thank you for attending.